Yo, what's up, everybody? I just want to talk about, some I guess you could say like metaphysical out of body experiences I've had. Um, so one, like the most important and profound time of my life was when I encountered what I believe to be, I guess you could say like the glory of God, kind of like how Moses, when he went on the mountain and he saw the glory of God and he had to hide his face, because it was just like, so much. But yeah, when I experienced God, it was actually at my worst. It was like a really bad time that I was going through. There was like a lot of just negative things. Um, I just a lot of demonic attack, a lot of and again, I won't go into too much detail, but I was messing with different things, that opened doors to to just these demonic realms and stuff. Um, so Yeah, so anyway, so like I met this doctor. He was like a therapist, dude. He was really cool. His name was Dr. Arnold. And he also did like guided kind of like a guided hypnosis meditation type deal thing. But he was like a Christian, like he went to church every Sunday, but he was like really into, I guess, like, the subconscious and hypnosis and things like that. So he did some hypnosis on me, like a few sessions, and I just as soon as he did it, I knew it was like profound change. You know what I mean? Like it tapped into like the deep, you know, subconscious, like the root of like who we are. You know what I mean? Like that's in the subconscious, and so the first time was really good, and then I told him how much it helped me, and he was really nice. So he actually, his son helped him make like an MP3, and he put on his website that he had, and I downloaded it and he put it for free on there. It was hella cool. So I had on like a little MP3 player. This was years ago. This was probably like 2010 ish, 2011. Oddly enough, it was like right before I think like 2012. So yeah, but so yeah, he gave me this MP3, and then I would listen to it when I would really be going through it, like when I'd be under like real like heavy anxiety and depression and demonic attack. I mean, it was to a point where like it was like really like on another level, and I would listen to it, and yeah, like it just, I have it on my website. It's called Dr. Arnold's Guide to Relaxation. Um, Not my website. I'm sorry, my YouTube. Getting all bougie here with a website. No, it's a YouTube, my YouTube channel. But anyways, back to the story. So like, I was going through it really bad this one time, like really really bad, and I was in my room and I was in my computer chair and it was in the dark, and I just put in my headphones and I just listened to this guided meditation, and something happened where like first, I remember like seeing like almost like within my body, like I could see like, because then he says about like warm beads like flowing down your spine or something, or your back, and like I could like literally visualize like all this stuff. And I know it's like, people say, oh, it's just, it's just hypnotizing you. It's like he's, it's like suggestive thinking, or like he's putting the thought in my head or whatever. Well, I mean, to a degree, yeah. But like it's just like, I don't know, I just basically, I feel like I went like in completely into the astral realm. You know what I'm saying? And we were basically it's a trip. It was, again, okay, so now it's me like in the astral. uh it almost looked like Contact with like Jodie Foster, where she's on the beach at the end where she meets her father, called Beautiful and stuff. But we were on a boat in like this beautiful tropical place, and it was Dr. Arnold sitting at the end of the boat. He wasn't saying anything. He was just smiling, like with this look of like just, and I had this feeling of like, basically, the way to explain it is like, how you go through life always trying to accomplish things and gain, like, I don't know. You're always trying to gain and gain and gain. If it's material, if it's, achievements, if it's, to be admired, to be, what I mean, whatever it is, everybody's trying to gain something out of life. But like, I got this feeling like I basically have, you know, I got everything. You know what I mean? Like, it was like as I was looking at him, I saw so much love, and I don't know. It's like, I don't know like really how to explain it. It's like maybe because he was verbally doing the guided meditation, you know, it's kind of like on the astral level, because we have higher, versions of ourself, the glorified self, I guess you could say, like that was who I was seeing, like his glorified self, or maybe it was just like easier for my, you know, my third eye to understand what was going on, to have him as the person to be in the boat with me. But I don't know. Regardless, it seemed like it was him. Like the real him, but just in like a really like positive, like his glorified like higher self. And he just looked at me with like love and like you're just good and like you basically accomplished everything you need in life. Like you got it, like whatever it is. You know what I mean? And so after that, it like shifted out of this beautiful, boat scene to like the true reality, like I guess you could say, which was like, and it's interesting because like, the Bible says you don't walk by sight, by faith, so, because the world is a world of like, in a sense of it's an illusionary world where it's based on things that are not really what God bases things on, survival of the fittest, but God says the last shall be first. So it's kind of, so an inverted version of like, the way God has, set things in the higher realms. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, yeah. So anyways, so I I went from that scene of being in like the island, in the boat with Dr. Arnold, to basically into like this darkness, right? Complete darkness. But it was like a womb, like a warm, loving, nurturing darkness, which sounds really like odd because, we usually think of darkness as like scary, but this darkness was like a warm, like a womb, you felt safe in there. And so like, as I look up, it's like this golden glory, like a glory, it's like a light, but it's like a golden, just, it's like, it's almost like my, I don't know. It's almost like, it says like nobody's seen the face of God or whatever in the Bible, but it's like, it was, I guess you could say it was his glory, or just like maybe like a really, like one of his angels, but I feel like it was more like his glory. I guess it's the best way to explain it. And what it did is it basically just completely transformed me and filled me up with his presence, and it's the thing was that that's like super trippy is that it's like out of, because you go through life and like even when you're looking for like soulmates or friends and whatever, you're always looking for like that perfect person that's like the best version of what you want out of a person, and you get pieces of that in different people, but you never kind of get like the fullness of like what you're looking for. Yeah, like that's what it like God, like this was basically like, and the crazy thing is like God, I don't like to use the word God because God really comes from Gad, and Gad is but I do use God all the time, but I'm just saying like when I think about it, Gad is it's like a pagan deity that's the god of fortune and division or something. I don't know, look it up on Wikipedia, but anyways, but I still use the word because it's just so ingrained in my head. But so yeah, so I look up and it's like this golden light of like glory just shining upon me, and it fills me with its presence, and I change from being just a hateful, angry, depressed, anxious person to just full of just bliss and love, like nirvana. You know what I'm saying? Just that's it. There's nothing else that you need. You're fully complete, you're fully like in tune, and you're fully one with God, and you're just full of love and bliss and peace. And then yeah, and then I just like walked out of my room, because this is back when I was with my folks, and I knew God was real. And yeah, it was a trip. It was a trip. Like I was just floating, and then it was like I felt like, you know there was like archons, or like just these type of like, I don't know, I just felt like oppression. Like there was like 5 or 8 days of like just pure bliss, and then all of a sudden I felt like oppression, and stuff just started getting like really weird, because I feel like, I don't know, like when you hit those higher planes, those higher realms of consciousness, being in tune with the spirit of God, um, it's, you're different. You're different than everybody, because, like, I mean, on a spiritual level, you glow. You know what I'm saying? So like so like that, the entities and the lower vibrational beings, they know that, and I feel like they try to take you off that path because you know you're ascending. You know what I mean? Like you're elevating. So yeah, I started just like a lot of weird things. A lot of weird things started happening. Like I went out to Arizona to just kind of clear my head, and because I was I was on some like heavy stuff like back in the day, like heavy stuff. Like this was the Lil Wayne mixtape era, so I was off like Xannies and lean and all that crap, and that just garbage poison, and just yeah. This was before like what it is now. Like now it's really popular, but I was doing like that was like way back in the day, and yeah, and like I went from being like like super deep on that stuff to just feeling great. You know what I mean? Cold turkey, just quit all that stuff. And then I went to Arizona because I want to get detached from that lifestyle. And I was out there just chilling. I remember like I was walking under street lights, and every light I would go under because I would take walks at night because I couldn't sleep because I was just so used to smoking and being all faded and just passing out. Like I was used to being sober, so I'd be up like all night just like reading the Bible and praying and like walking around, taking like walks around the neighborhood and stuff at like 2 a.m. And I remember like one time I went for a walk and I was like walking, I walked and I always felt like I was being kind of like this, I don't know, this weird ominous kind of feeling. And I was walking back, and every street light I went under. And this was like one of those nice newer, kind of not gated communities, but those little kind of private communities in Arizona and like Phoenix that are like kind of nice. Every light I walked under, they would go out, and it was like super creepy. like I was like, what? I would like look up and the light would go out, and I walk under that next one, and that light would go out, and then it was like just basically like, yeah, it was weird. And then one time I looked out the window and there's like a bazillion birds that are like never like that, like out by like where the pool was, and then I looked and I was kind of tripping, and then as soon as my dad came out and saw me looking at these birds, they all freaking flew off. And there's like probably 40, 50 birds just like out there. And it was almost like, and then my dad kind of looked at me like trippy, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then every time I would drive, when I was driving, I would look up and I would see a few birds, just like on like the path I was going. It was like super weird. Like birds were just like flying across, and I would look at in the traffic ahead of me, behind me. And that sounds like super paranoid, but it's like, dude, there was no other birds flying. It was like like in front of me, I'm like not directly like obscuring my view, but like above in the sky, like these birds would just keep flying. And I don't think birds are fake, like that funny conspiracy. But I just thought it was a trip. Like birds were like, I don't know, I don't know about the birds, but they were like definitely part of the little weirdness. And then let me see, what was like super weird that happened. Um, I mean, I got stories. I got stories on stories on stories on paranormal stuff. But as far as like pertaining to right after that, like, coming in contact with God's glory and just being changed forever, the most spiritually profound, like, time of my life. Um, but I'm trying to think like, I feel like something else that was like super strange happened. Oh, yeah. So my buddy, my homie, like, he's kind of like a homeboy homie, he's like, what's up, bro? You know what I mean? We went, cause this is, okay. So like, I don't know, like, okay. So like my boy came and picked me up and we went to the park, and we were chilling at the park for a while, and we were walking, and I promise you, we seen like this elemental looking like wood creature. It was like made of wood, but it was like an elemental. It wasn't even like, it was just a straight up elemental creature. It was like bizarre as hell. And I pointed at my boy, and this, I'll be honest with you, my boy's from like EPA, and that's like I don't know if you guys are from like NorCal, but that's a super like hood spot. And he was a real like, he was a gangster dude. So like when I seen him trip like this, it blew my mind. So like me and him, I seen it first. I'm like, hey, what's that? And he said, oh, what? And he froze and like stepped back. He's like, what the hell is that? And it changed in an instant, like almost like when we saw it, it changed into a piece of wood. Again, I know, sounds crazy, but yes, the elemental changed into a piece of wood. And then, but he saw it, like we both saw it, So I don't know if I was just tapping into like these higher vibrational frequencies, or like these higher, frequencies of perception. I don't know, but it was a trip. It was a trip. But, at the end of the day, it would forever change me because I was, my whole soul was given like life. you know, because I felt like I was like, if I look at my life before that, I mean, there was a lot of, you know, fun times with, you know, chilling with my friends and stuff and just goofing off, but I guess like no true meaning, you know, until I really, another trippy thing is when I had that experience with God and his love, it was like just pure love and understanding and forgiveness and kindness and just compassion and, you know, all the stuff we really want as a soul, not even as a person, but as a spirit, you know what I mean? As like our true inner essence needs. And he knew me better than I knew myself. And he was no stranger. You know, we always think of God as like this distant, you know, abstract being, but he was like no stranger. Like he knew me more than I knew myself, and he loved like the true me, not for the error of the mind and not for, my sins and stuff, but he saw my true, essence was really like was him. You know, like not that I'm God, but like that I guess the goodness within us is of him. You know, like that's the that does come from directly from him, and that is a piece of him. So, it's all, but it's all love. God is love. And yeah. So that was that was like just a really a powerful experience that I want to put a video on, and I'll probably start to touch on more like of my paranormal experiences that I've had. Cause like I said, I got a bunch, but that's like, I want to start with that because that's like the most spiritually profound that really changed my heart forever in a good, positive way. Didn't mean things were easy after that, because definitely not, but God, gave me the gift of spiritual, spiritual life. So that's the most important. So anyways, that's my little story time for tonight. And God bless. Peace, everybody.